A lot of people ask me specifically about symptoms that mimic a UTI, especially after periods of stress in their life. Well, so if you look inside of the pelvic floor, we'll see that the bladder actually lives right here, right in the front. And if you look really closely, you will see that there are muscles that kind of surround the bladder and then loop all the way around the rectum. So if you can imagine us holding a lot of tension in the front of our pelvic floor or constantly gripping our pelvic floor, how that could really create a lot of discomfort around our bladder. The bladder likes room. Much like any other thing in our body, it likes to be able to move and stretch. But if you think about the pelvic floor being tight and hard against that bottom of the bladder, it's going to respond with uncomfortable things. You may notice burning with urination. That could be pelvic floor muscle discomfort. But also, if you tend to have bladder irritation easily, like any of my interstitial cystitis patients, that's why you really want to make sure that your pelvic floor is relaxed. Now, what's the trigger for that? Is there a stress trigger? Is it an activity trigger? So depending on what your specific trigger is, will depend on what the course of action is. If you tend to be very stressed out and that always causes your symptoms, then really working on stress relief techniques so that your body doesn't feel the need to protect you by gripping your pelvic floor all day long.